The penthouse had never felt this alive. Soft music floated through the sitting room, laughter bouncing off marble walls, the city lights glittering beyond the glass windows like they were celebrating with us. Mason had organized a small gathering, nothing extravagant, just a handful of his close friends, polished and curious, sipping champagne and pretending not to analyze every detail of our sudden marriage. Mason had organized a small celebration. Nothing extravagant, he'd said, just a few friends. But everything about Mason Blake came with an effortless grandeur. Polished marble floors, floor-to-ceiling windows framing the New York skyline, and people who carried themselves like they were used to money and attention. I stood beside him, my hand resting lightly on his arm, dressed in a luxury green dinner gown I still didn't quite believe was mine. Conversations flowed around us, curious glances sliding my way, assessing, measuring.
Wow, so this is the mystery bride.
Do you know their engagement broke the internet? They are all over the headlines.
Please, can I have your attention? I have something to say.
I'm not a man of speeches, but tonight deserves one. The last few years of my life have been complicated, but today I gained something precious and valuable. A partner, a family.
To Avery, my new wife, I love you.
4 hours later, the penthouse was quiet again. The guests had gone, laughter fading into memory. I stood alone in the kitchen, still wearing my gown, stirring a pot on the stove, grounding myself in the simple rhythm of cooking. Footsteps approached.
You are looking beautiful today.
Thank you. But why did you kiss me like that in front of everyone?
Because we need to make it look convincing. We needed the kiss to make it look like we are in love.
But kissing was not part of the contract. The contract says, be your wife for 6 months, no strings attached.
Don't tell me you didn't enjoy the kiss.
That's not the point, Mason. Your contract says no strings attached, no expectations.
Gosh, I have heard you, Avery.
And you know too well, I'm doing this for your kids, so that your ex-wife don't win custody.
Dinner felt quieter than the party, but heavier in its own way. Jane and Edward sat close to me, their small shoulders brushing mine as they ate. Edward took an enthusiastic bite and grinned.
This is really good,
he said. Then, without thinking,
thanks, Mom.
The word froze the room. My breath caught. Edward's eyes widened in horror.
I mean Avery. Sorry.
I forced a smile. It's okay. Mason looked at his son, something soft and unguarded lighting his face. Pride. Hope. Jane smiled shyly at me, and something inside my chest ached in the sweetest, most terrifying way. When the kids finished and headed upstairs, the silence that followed was thick with unspoken thoughts. Mason and I stood across from each other, neither of us sitting back down. Let me remind you again, this marriage is a contract, I said quietly, staring at the table instead of him. You shouldn't kiss me like that again. You've had a lot of women in your life. I don't want to end up like them. I could feel him move closer.
I don't treat you like them,
he said. I still couldn't look up. Then his fingers gently lifted my chin, cold chill drops down my veins. I could feel his scent, and he slowly kissed me. This time, there was no audience, no applause, no pretending. I melted into him, my hands gripping his shirt as if anchoring myself to a moment I'd wanted since debate high school, since a door behind an auditorium and a kiss that never happened. His arms wrapped around me tightly, desperately, like he was afraid to let go. And for the first time, I didn't feel like running. Not from him, not from this. Avoiding Mason Blake became my full-time survival strategy. If I heard his footsteps down the hallway, I turned into the nearest room. If he entered the kitchen, I suddenly remembered something urgent upstairs. If he spoke, I answered with polite, professional distance, short sentences, careful smiles, nothing that invited more. Because every time I was near him, my resolve slipped. Every glance lingered too long. Every accidental brush of skin set memories flooding back. His kiss, the way he'd held me like letting go would shatter something inside him. And I couldn't afford that. Not now, not ever. I had spent years learning how to run before love could hurt me. I wasn't about to forget that lesson just because Mason Blake existed. But Mason wasn't oblivious.
You've been avoiding me.
His voice stopped me mid-step in the hallway. I closed my eyes briefly before turning around. No, I lied. He raised a brow.
You've taken 3 different routes to avoid sharing an elevator with me today.
I exhaled, shoulders slumping. Fine, yes, I am.
Why?
Because I can't trust myself around you. Because you make me forget every promise I've made to protect my heart. Because I'm terrified I'll fall into something I won't survive. Instead, I said, because I don't know what happens if I stay too close to you. His expression softened.
Avery.
I'm serious, I interrupted, my voice shaking despite my effort to stay composed. I came here to take care of your children. That's my job. That's what I need to focus on, not this.
This?
This tension, I whispered. This pretending not pretending. I've been in relationships built on lies before, Mason. They don't end well. He stepped closer. I stepped back. I'm scared, I admitted. I don't trust myself anymore, and I don't want to wake up one day realizing I've walked into another disaster. His hands came up gently, stopping me from retreating further.
Talk to me,
he said, his voice low and steady.
Don't shut me out.
I was about to answer when the front door opened. The air shifted instantly. I turned just as a woman stepped inside, her heels clicking sharply against the marble floor. She was tall, elegant, devastatingly beautiful in a sleek blue dinner gown that screamed confidence and entitlement. Lydia. Mason stiffened beside me.
What are you doing here?
He demanded. She smiled coolly.
I'm here to see my children.
Mason laughed once, humorless.
The children you walked away from?
Her smile faltered.
That's not fair.
No. What's not fair is you showing up unannounced like you still have the right. I don't have a problem with you seeing them, Lydia. But walking into my house without telling me first, especially while we have a custody case pending, is a red flag. And I won't tolerate it.
She crossed her arms.
So now I need permission to see my own kids.
Yes, you need boundaries and respect.
Then he turned to me, jaw tight.
Call the kids.
And he walked out. The silence that followed was sharp. Lydia's gaze slid to me, slow and assessing. Then she smiled, thin, cruel.
I thought you were supposed to be his new wife,
she said.
So why are you dressed like the nanny?
My cheeks burned. Her eyes gleamed.
Oh, wait a minute. Unless you're not really his wife. Unless this whole marriage is fake. Those headlines? Fake.
My throat closed. For a moment, shame wrapped around me like a second skin. Then I lifted my chin. You're here for the children, I said calmly. Not me. I'll go get them. I turned before she could say more. Jane and Edward hesitated when I told them their mother was here.
I don't want to see her.
Jane whispered, clutching my hand. Edward nodded.
She always leaves.
My heart cracked, but I gently guided them downstairs anyway. When Lydia saw their guarded faces, her composure snapped.
This is your doing. You've poisoned them against me.
I haven't, I said firmly. They feel what they feel. She leaned in close.
I'll deal with you,
she whispered. Then she stormed out. I knelt in front of the kids, pulling them into my arms as their small bodies shook. It's okay, I murmured. I've got you. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just protecting my heart anymore. I was protecting theirs. The clock on the wall blinked 2100 in soft blue light. I stared at it longer than necessary, my body curled into the corner of the couch, feet tucked beneath me, a throw blanket draped over my lap. The penthouse was quiet in that way only nighttime could create. Too quiet, almost hollow. Jane and Edward were fast asleep upstairs, their doors slightly ajar the way they liked. Peter had long since retired to his quarters. Even the city outside seemed muted. lights glowing but distant. Mason still wasn't home. I told myself I was waiting only because it was my responsibility, that as his nanny, as his contract wife, it was reasonable to make sure he arrived safely. But my chest felt too tight for that to be the truth. My eyelids drooped, exhaustion tugging at me. Just as my head leaned back against the cushion, the front door opened. I jolted upright. Mason stepped inside, his movements slower than usual, his black suit immaculate, but his posture off. He loosened his tie with a rough tug, jaw clenched, eyes darker than I'd ever seen them. He smelled faintly of alcohol. "Mason," I said, standing, "you're late." He gave a crooked smile.
Work.
I moved closer instinctively as he swayed just a bit. "You're tipsy."
Not drunk.
Still, I guided him to the couch, my hand firm on his arm. He let me. That alone unsettled me. Mason Blake never let anyone do anything. I knelt to help him remove his shoes, fingers brushing his ankles. He watched me with an intensity that made my skin prickle. I slid his suit jacket off his shoulders, the weight of it heavy in my hands, leaving him in his crisp white shirt, sleeves rolled, collar undone. As I stood, he caught my wrist.
Avery.
"Yes?" His grip tightened, gentle but certain.
Sit.
I sat. He leaned closer, eyes glassy but focused.
Do you know how long I've loved you?
My breath caught. "Mason, you've been drinking."
I know exactly what I'm saying. I always have.
I shook my head. "You don't mean this."
I do. I mean it. From we were 17 and standing across each other in debate competitions. I loved you. That's why I let you win regionals.
I froze. "What?" His lips curved faintly. "You were already winning that day, and somehow you went off."
Yes. I wanted to see you smile. So I stepped back.
My heart hammered. "You never told me."
I wanted to kiss you that day, in that classroom corner. I wanted to pull you close and never let you go. But I was young and stupid and scared.
I stood abruptly. "You're drunk." He didn't argue, just watched me with eyes full of something dangerously close to longing. "I'll get you water," I said, turning away before my resolve shattered. In the kitchen, I pressed my palms to the counter, breathing through the storm inside me. When I returned, he drank obediently, never once breaking eye contact.
I'm serious. I want you. I want us.
I swallowed hard. "Let's get you to bed." Upstairs, his room was dim and quiet. I helped him sit, my fingers trembling as I reached for his shirt buttons. Our faces were suddenly too close. His hand caught mine.
Avery.
My heart screamed at me to stop. But when his forehead rested against mine, when his breath mingled with mine, all the years of wanting came rushing back. He leaned in. I didn't pull away. The emotional pull between us was undeniable, dangerous. His hand closed around mine. For a heartbeat, the world narrowed to just us. And I knew whatever happened next would change everything. The sitting room was dim except for the glow of Mason's phone. I was curled at one end of the couch, legs tucked beneath me, watching the sharp lines of his face harden as his screen lit up again, and again, and again. Each vibration felt louder than the last, like a warning bell we were too late to silence. "What is it?" I asked. He exhaled slowly and turned the phone toward me. My breath left my body. The headline stared back at me in bold, merciless letters. "Billionaire CEO's sham marriage exposed. Ex-wife speaks out." Below it were photos. Me, in my nanny outfit, in his house. One picture caught me mid-laugh with the kids. Another showed me carrying Jane on my hip. Harmless moments, intimate ones, twisted now into something ugly. "This can't be real," I whispered. Mason's phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't a notification. It was a call. Lydia. I felt my chest tighten.
She planned this, every bit of it.
Blogs were already tearing us apart. Comment sections flooded with speculation. Is the marriage fake? Is the nanny the wife? Another billionaire scandal. My name, Avery Hart, was suddenly everywhere.
I told you.
Mason continued, his voice dark.
She snapped these on purpose. She wanted proof. She wanted ammunition.
My hands trembled. She's using me,
She's using us.
he corrected. The phone rang again. He answered.
What do you want, Lydia?
Her voice poured through the speaker, sharp and satisfied.
Did you see the news yet, darling?
I flinched.
You've crossed a line.
Oh, please. You crossed it first. Marrying the nanny? That's desperate, even for you. With this scandal, the judge will have no choice. You've proven instability, deception, poor judgment. Full custody will be mine.
Mason stood abruptly, pacing.
You don't care about the kids.
Care? I care about winning, and I will. Your so-called wife's photos will be everywhere by morning. Blogs, papers, court filings. I'll make sure no one forgets who she really is.
I wrapped my arms around myself, shame crawling up my spine like ice.
That's enough. And you won't touch her.
You already did. Good luck fixing this.
The line went dead. Silence rushed in, heavy and suffocating. I'm sorry, I whispered. This is my fault. I should have known. Mason turned to me so fast, I startled.
No, do not take this on yourself. She did this, not you.
But they're using me, I said, tears stinging my eyes. My clothes, my job, my life. He softened instantly, crossing the room in 2 strides. He cupped my face, thumbs warm against my cheeks.
I won't let anyone tarnish your name. I promise you that. I'll fix this.
I searched his eyes. They were fierce, protective, but also tired. So tired. This fight isn't yours alone anymore, I said quietly. He frowned.
Avery.
I mean it, I insisted. You don't get to shield me out of this. We entered this together. If Lydia thinks she can break us by attacking me, then she's wrong. My voice steadied as something fierce bloomed in my chest. I'll help you, I continued. We'll fix this, together, as partners, as one. For a moment, he just stared at me. Then something shifted in his expression. Gratitude, awe, something dangerously close to love. He pulled me into his arms, holding me tightly, like the world outside couldn't touch us if he didn't let go.
Thank you.
He murmured into my hair. I closed my eyes, letting myself rest there. Whatever Lydia had started, whatever storm was coming, I wasn't running this time. I knew something was wrong the moment Mason's assistant knocked on my door before sunrise. She didn't smile. She didn't make small talk. She simply said, "They're waiting for you in the sitting room, Mrs. Blake." Mrs. Blake. The name still felt borrowed, like a dress I hadn't quite grown into, but was being forced to wear anyway. When I stepped into the sitting room, the air felt tight, suffocating. Mason's PR team occupied the space like a silent jury. Tablets, phones, laptops, screens glowing with my face splashed across blogs, headlines screaming lies in fonts too big to ignore. I saw myself in my nanny outfit. I saw myself smiling with Jane. And suddenly, all those tender moments, moments that had meant safety and love, had been twisted into weapons. A woman with sharp eyes and sharper posture stood.
We'll be very direct, Avery.
I nodded, bracing myself.
You can no longer dress as a nanny in both private and public.
The words hit harder than I expected.
That image contradicts the narrative of your marriage. Lydia is using it to suggest deception, employment disguised as matrimony.
I swallowed. So, I'm not allowed to take care of the children anymore? Mason moved instantly.
That's not what she said.
Privately, you can do whatever you like. Publicly, Avery must be repositioned. Repositioned. As Mason Blake's wife.
She finished. Silence followed. I looked down at my hands, suddenly ashamed of the simple cotton dress I was wearing. As if loving those children had been a mistake. As if being present had been wrong. Mason reached for me.
Look at me.
I did.
I won't let them erase who you are.
He said firmly.
But right now, we protect you. We protect the kids.
I nodded slowly. Then I'll do it. The meeting dissolved into plans, wardrobes, appearances, interviews, but my mind stayed stuck on one thought. I was being asked to disappear so a wife could exist. By noon, my closet no longer belonged to me. Stylists replaced soft fabrics with silk and structure. Heels replaced flats. Jewelry kissed my skin where comfort once lived. When they were done, the mirror reflected a woman who looked powerful, but unfamiliar. By evening, the paparazzi were waiting. They camped outside the building like predators, lenses raised, flashes exploding the moment Mason and I stepped out together. His hand slid into mine, steady, grounding.
Stay close,
he murmured. Questions erupted instantly. Mrs. Blake, is your marriage real? Avery, were you ever actually the nanny? Mason, did you marry her to win custody? Mason stopped. The world seemed to pause with him. He turned toward the cameras, pulling me closer, not possessively, his arm wrapped around my waist, solid and warm, anchoring me when my knees threatened to give out.
Love can be found in strange places. And sometimes the people who heal you don't arrive the way the world expects.
The murmurs grew louder.
Avery Hart, now Mrs. Blake, is the one woman who fixed my heart when I thought it was beyond repair. She didn't come into my life as an image or an idea, but as truth. She loves my children, he added, and she loves me. That is all anyone needs to know.
Every camera swung toward me. Fear clawed at my chest, but beneath it was something stronger. Resolve, love, truth. I stepped forward slightly, my voice shaking, but not breaking. I love Mason, I said. With my life. Gasps echoed. I would give everything for him, I continued, and for his children. Family isn't about how you meet, it's about who stays. The silence that followed was deafening. Then the flashes came harder. Inside the car, my heart finally caught up with me. I pressed my palm to my chest, trying to slow it.
You didn't have to say that,
Mason said, watching me. Yes, I did, I replied. If this war is being fought in public, then I won't hide. He looked at me for a long moment, like he was seeing me for the first time all over again.
You're braver than you know.
Later that night, alone in my room, I removed the jewelry piece by piece. The woman in the mirror still wore Mason Blake's world on her shoulders, but beneath it, I was still Avery Hart, the nanny, the wife, the woman standing between love and destruction. And for the first time, I realized something terrifying and beautiful all at once. I wasn't pretending anymore. I was fighting for this family, and I was willing to lose everything else to protect it. If love were a performance, Mason and I were being forced to rehearse it under blinding lights. Every day after the scandal broke, our schedule filled with appearances, charity luncheons, foundation galas, impromptu interviews, carefully staged photographs. We smiled until our cheeks hurt. We touched just enough to look convincing. His hand at the small of my back, my fingers resting on his arm. Intimate, but controlled. Or at least it was supposed to be. The truth was, pretending to be Mason's wife was becoming harder than being one. At the museum gala, cameras followed us like shadows. Mason leaned close, his lips brushing my ear as he murmured,
Relax, you're doing great.
I inhaled his scent, clean, masculine, familiar now, and nearly forgot where we were. When he smiled at me across the room, something fluttered painfully in my chest. Not nerves, want. And that terrified me. Back home that night, the penthouse felt too quiet. The children were asleep. Peter had retired to his quarters. The city lights spilled through the windows like a private audience. Mason loosened his tie and exhales deeply.
Today was brutal. You handled it well.
He said softly. He turned to me then, really looked at me, and the warmth in his eyes undone something in me.
What I said to the press.
He began, voice low, serious.
About you fixing my heart. That wasn't for show.
My pulse skipped. Mason.
I know this started as a contract, but what I feel when you're around, that's real. It scares the hell out of me, but it's real.
The air thickened between us. I should have stepped back. I should have reminded him of the rules. Instead, I stood there, heart racing, every emotion screaming at once. He moved closer, slowly, giving me time to stop him. I didn't. His hand brushed my cheek, thumb tracing the curve of my jaw.
Avery,
he whispered, like my name was a confession. When he kissed me, it wasn't rushed or hungry. It was gentle, searching, as if he was asking permission with every breath. My hands found his chest, and for a moment, I forgot every reason I'd built walls around myself. I kissed him back. The world narrowed to warmth and closeness and the feeling of being wanted, not as a role, not as a solution, but as me. His arms tightened around me, pulling me against him, and the kiss deepened, dangerously so. And suddenly, reality crashed in. I saw headlines, courtrooms, broken promises. I saw Adrian's betrayal, Lydia's threats. I saw myself losing everything again. I pulled away, breathless. Mason, stop. He froze instantly, hands falling to his sides.
Did I?
No, I said quickly. You didn't do anything wrong. I can't. Silence stretched between us, heavy and aching. I'm afraid, I admitted, staring at the floor. I can't predict myself anymore when I'm with you, and I've already lost too much to fall into something that might destroy us both. He ran a hand through his hair, frustration and guilt etched into his face.
You think I don't know how messy my past is? I was reckless. I hurt people. I hurt myself. And now, I don't trust that I deserve what I'm feeling.
That surprised me.
I don't want you to think you're just another woman in my life. Because you're not. That's why I'm scared.
I looked up then, meeting his eyes. Then let's not rush into something we can't undo. He nodded slowly, though the disappointment was clear.
Okay.
We stood there, close but no longer touching. Two people wanting the same thing, but afraid to name it. As I turned to leave, Mason spoke again.
Avery?
Yes?
No matter what happens, I meant every word I said out there.
I swallowed hard. I know. Later, lying in bed, sleep refused to come. My body still remembered his touch. My heart still echoed his words. Fake affection, they'd called it, but nothing about what I felt was fake. And that was the most dangerous part of all. The first time my phone vibrates, I tell myself it's nothing, just another unknown number, another spam call, another reminder that New York never really sleeps. I'm standing by the kitchen island, slicing strawberries for Jane's lunchbox, when the buzzing crawls across the marble surface like something alive. I ignore it. The second vibration comes less than a minute later, harder, more insistent. My chest tightens. I glance at the screen before I can stop myself. Unknown caller. My fingers go cold. I silence the phone and force my smile back into place just as Edwards runs in, backpack half-zipped, hair sticking up in a way that makes my heart ache.
Avery, Jane's taking too long.
He complains. She's 6, Eddie, I laugh softly. Give her a second. But my laughter feels thin, brittle, because deep down, I already know. He's found me. By the time the children are dropped off at school and I'm alone again in the penthouse, my phone has rung 12 times. Different numbers, same pattern. I sit on the edge of the couch, staring at the city beyond the glass walls. New York looks invincible from up here, steel and light and noise, but I feel impossibly small inside it. The phone vibrates again, this time a text. Adrian.
Did you really think you could disappear, Avery?
My breath catches painfully. I don't respond. Another message follows almost instantly. I know where you are. My hands start shaking. I lock the screen and press the phone face down against my thigh, like that might silence the past along with it. My mind races. How did he find me? I used cash, avoided social media, changed numbers. Then the headlines flash in my memory. Mason Blake marries mystery woman. Of course. I feel stupid for thinking I could hide forever. I don't tell Mason. That part is deliberate. He already has too much on his shoulders. Custody battles, Lydia's schemes, the pressure of pretending our marriage isn't unraveling him from the inside out. I refuse to add my nightmare to his list. So I smile. I laugh with the kids. I help Jane braid her doll's hair and quiz Edwards on spelling words while my phone stays tucked away in a drawer, buzzing like a trapped insect. But the messages keep coming. You owe me. We're not done. I can be very patient or very angry. Each one drags me back to hotel corridors and locked doors and the suffocating certainty that love, to Adrian, had always meant ownership. That night, while Mason is in his office taking calls, I sit alone in my room, knees pulled to my chest, replaying every choice that led me here. Running saved me, but it didn't free me. 3 days later, the situation escalates. I'm folding laundry when a new message lights up my screen, not from an unknown number this time, but from a private account on social media. No profile photo, no followers, just a single image. It's the front of the penthouse building, taken from across the street. My stomach drops. Adrian.
Nice place. Billionaires suit you now?
I press a hand over my mouth, panic roaring through my veins. He's not just calling anymore. He's watching. I reply the text, my fingers dancing around my phone's keypad. You are an arrogant, obsessed, textbook definition of flight risk. I don't owe you. I can never marry you. You're a cheat. You made an arrangement with my parents. Go and settle with them. And for the last time, leave my life alone. Immediately, I'm done letting my heart out. I don't care to proofread the text. I click on the send button. I let out a sigh when I get a notification saying, message sent. I lock every door, check every window. I jump at every sound until my nerves feel shredded raw. Still, I say nothing, because fear has taught me that silence sometimes feels safer than confrontation. The courtroom smells like old wood and cold judgment. I feel it the moment I step inside, how every sound echoes too loudly, how every glance feels like it's peeling layers off my skin. Mason walks beside me, tall and composed in his dark suit, but I can feel the tension rolling off him. His jaw is tight, his shoulders rigid. The man who commands boardrooms looks like he's bracing for impact. This isn't business. This is war. Lydia is already seated across the aisle, legs crossed elegantly, wearing a soft cream suit that makes her look harmless, maternal, wronged. She even manages a faint smile when her eyes meet Mason's. It makes my stomach churn. Jane and Edwards aren't here, thank God. Mason insisted they be kept far away from this room, from these words, from the version of their parents that would be dissected and rearranged for strangers. When the judge enters, my heart starts pounding so hard, I'm sure everyone can hear it. Court is now in session. And just like that, everything begins to unravel. Lydia's lawyer is polished, calm, devastating. He paints Mason as a man ruled by impulse and excess, a billionaire playboy who partied too hard, loved too fast, and didn't know how to stay. He brings up old headlines, old photos, carefully selected moments frozen in time, to tell a story that barely resembles the man I know.
He is unstable, and instability is not a safe environment for two young children.
I grip my hands together so tightly my fingers ache. Mason doesn't flinch, but I see it, the flicker in his eyes, the fear he never names, the one he carries like a shadow. Lydia takes the stand next. She cries on cue, talks about abandonment, about loneliness, about how she only wants what's best for her children. She never mentions the years she disappeared, never mentions missed birthdays or unanswered calls. When she looks at me, there's a spark of something dark beneath her tears. Triumph. Then it's Mason's turn. He speaks plainly, honestly, about mistakes he's made, about how he changed when his children were born, about how every decision he's made since has been for them.
I'm not perfect, but I am present, every day.
I believe him. So does the judge, I think, at least a little. Then my name is called. Avery Hart, please take the stand. My legs feel like they might give out as I walk forward. I glance at Mason before I sit down. He gives me a small nod, trusting, grateful, and terrified. I take a breath and swear to tell the truth. The questions start gently, my relationship to the children, my role in their lives, how long I've known Mason. Then they sharpen.
Mrs. Blake,
Lydia's lawyer says.
Isn't it true that your marriage began as a contractual arrangement?
The room goes still. Mason's head snaps toward me. My heart stutters. This is it, the moment I've been dreading. I could lie. I could protect him, protect us. But something deep inside me refuses. Yes, I say quietly. It did. A murmur ripples through the courtroom. Mason looks like he's been punched. But, I continue, my voice trembling but firm, it didn't stay that way. I talk about the children, about their routines, their fears, their laughter, about the nights Mason stayed up helping with homework, the mornings he packed lunches, the way he listens when they speak, really listens. He is a good father, I say, meeting the judge's eyes, not because he's perfect, but because he tries, every single day. I don't hide my past either. I speak about running, about abuse, about fear. I know what instability looks like, I say softly, and what Mason's home provides is the opposite of that. It's safety. The courtroom is silent. For a moment, I think maybe, just maybe, we've won something. Then Lydia's lawyer stands.
We have new evidence,
He says. My stomach drops. A screen is wheeled in, and then, finally, something that steals the air from my lungs. A printed screenshot, a message from an unknown number. You belong to me. The lawyer's voice cuts through the room like a blade. Mrs. Blake, are you currently being contacted by an ex-fiancé with a history of instability and obsession? I can't breathe. I feel Mason stand abruptly beside me.
Avery?
And in that moment, I realize the truth has finally caught up with me. My honesty won sympathy, but it also opened the door to something far more dangerous, because now everyone knows. The past I ran from is standing right outside this courtroom, and it's about to crash straight through our lives. The drive home from the courthouse is silent in a way that hurts. Not the peaceful kind, not the comfortable kind. This silence is sharp, full of things unsaid, questions circling like vultures. Mason's hands grip the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles are white. His jaw is clenched, eyes fixed on the road ahead like, if he looks at me, something might shatter. I've never seen him like this, and somehow that hurts more than anger. The penthouse doors close behind us with a soft click that sounds final. Peter is nowhere in sight. The house feels too big, too empty. Mason turns to me slowly.
Avery?
He says, his voice controlled but dangerous.
Explain.
My heart drops.
Explain why Lydia's lawyer knew about your ex-fiancé. Explain why screenshots of his messages showed up in court. Explain why I just walked into what looks like a legal trap.
I open my mouth, close it. My throat burns.
You should have told me.
He continues, disappointment cutting deeper than anger ever could.
You made me look unprepared. You made us look like liars.
I was scared, I whisper.
That's not an excuse.
He snaps, then stops himself, dragging a hand down his face.
I trusted you.
That word, trusted, breaks something in me. Tears spill over before I can stop them. I didn't tell you because Adrian doesn't just hurt people, Mason, I say, voice shaking. He owns them. He controls them. And I thought if I stayed quiet, if I stayed small, he wouldn't notice me again. Mason's eyes darken.
You were wrong.
I know, I choke out. I know that now. I sink onto the couch, my legs giving out beneath me, and the words finally pour out, the ones I've been burying for years. Adrian was charming at first, I say, attentive, protective. Everyone thought I was lucky. I thought my parents' decision paid off. It was their idea anyways. But slowly, the world got smaller. He decided what I wore, who I talked to, what dreams were acceptable. Mason stays silent, listening. Acting? I laugh. He called it childish, a phase, said no wife of his would embarrass him like that. I tried to be what he wanted because my parents thought he was perfect, because leaving felt like failure. My hands tremble as I twist them together. On the wedding day, right in his hotel room, I caught him, red-handed, having an affair with my best friend Lila. He was arrogant and unapologetic about it. My voice cracks. That was the moment I knew marrying him would be a prison sentence. Mason exhales sharply. I ran, in my wedding dress. I took the nanny job because it was anonymous, because I needed to disappear. And instead, Mason says quietly,
You ran straight into my mess.
I look up at him, tears streaking my face. I never meant to drag you into this, or the kids. The mention of them shifts something in the air, Jane and Edwards, as if summoned by the weight of their names. A loud bang echoes from the far end of the penthouse. My blood turns to ice. Another bang, louder, violent.
What was that?
Mason says sharply. Before either of us can move, the security alarm blares. Too late. A shadow moves down the hallway. And then,
Avery!
A familiar voice calls out, sickeningly calm.
I know you're home.
Adrian. My lungs seize. Mason steps in front of me instinctively.
Call the police.
He mutters, already moving. But Adrian is faster. He appears at the doorway, disheveled, eyes wild, holding something metallic and sharp in his hand. Not a gun.
I just want to talk.
Adrian says, smiling like this is all a misunderstanding.
You owe me that, sweetheart.
My legs shake, but something feral wakes up inside me. You don't get to call me that, I say, stepping forward despite Mason's arm reaching for me.
Avery.
Mason warns. Adrian's gaze flicks past us. Then he sees them. Jane and Edwards stand frozen at the top of the stairs, eyes wide with terror. My heart stops. Go back to your room, I shout. Lock the door. Adrian laughs softly.
See? Still dramatic.
I move without thinking. I put myself between him and the children. You will not touch them, I say, my voice shaking but loud. You hear me? Adrian's smile disappears.
They're not yours. You left me.
And I will choose them every time, I fire back. Mason moves beside me now, a wall of muscle and fury.
You take one more step and you'll regret it.
Adrian lunges. Everything happens at once. Mason tackles him. The sharp object skids across the floor. I scream and shove Jane and Edwards behind me, shielding them with my body as Mason and Adrian crash into the coffee table. Glass shatters. Adrian swings wildly. Mason blocks, punches, fights like a man protecting his entire world. I grab the knife and throw it across the room. Get away from them, I scream. Sirens wail in the distance. Someone must have triggered the alarm. Adrian sees the end coming. His eyes find mine one last time, filled with rage and something broken.
This isn't over.
Mason slams him into the wall just as security bursts in. It's over. It's finally over. Later, after the police arrest Adrian and take him away, and the children are safe, shaking but unharmed, I sit on the floor of the bedroom, my back against the bed, hands still trembling. Mason kneels in front of me.
You're hurt.
I'm fine. Then I break. The courthouse feels different this time. Not colder, not warmer, just final. I sit beside Mason on the wooden bench, my hands folded in my lap, fingers laced so tightly together they ache. Across the aisle, Lydia looks nothing like the woman who once strutted through this place with practiced tears and calculated elegance. Today, she looks small. She keeps glancing toward the door, as if searching for an escape route that no longer exists. Adrian is not here. Because Adrian is in a holding cell. The knowledge settles into me slowly, like warmth after a long winter. He was arrested 2 nights ago, charged with breaking and entering, aggravated assault, and he was taken away in handcuffs. The nightmare that chased me for years is finally behind bars. I should feel nothing but relief, but my chest feels heavy instead. The judge enters, everyone rises, and just like that, everything we've been fighting for comes down to words spoken by a stranger in a black robe. Lydia's lawyer tries to salvage what little credibility remains. He argues instability. He hints at deception. He circles around the same accusation again and again that Mason and I orchestrated a fake marriage to manipulate the court. But this time, it doesn't land, because the truth has teeth. Mason's legal team presents evidence Lydia never expected to surface. Medical records, RAB discharge papers, witness testimonies, text messages sent at midnight, slurred and erratic, begging for money she claimed she didn't need. Photos time-stamped years ago, birthdays she missed, school plays she ignored, holidays she spent nowhere near her children. And then comes the moment that changes everything. The judge looks directly at Lydia.
Miss Lydia, is it true you have struggled with alcohol addiction over the past 6 years?
That's irrelevant, Your Honor.
It is not when it affects your reliability, judgment, and presence as a parent.
Her lawyer tries to interrupt. The judge holds up a hand. Silence. Lydia's eyes dart around the courtroom. For the first time, there's no script, no performance.
Yes, I've had problems. So what?
A murmur ripples through the room.
And is it also true that you voluntarily left the country for extended periods, during which you made no attempt to see or contact your children?
Lydia's lips tremble. She doesn't answer. That silence is louder than any accusation. Then it's my turn, again. I walk to the stand feeling strangely calm. I've already survived the worst. Nothing in this room can hurt me like Adrian did, or like fear did. I speak honestly, not dramatically, not defensively. I talk about the children, about homework and bedtime routines, about Jane's nightmares and Edward's stubborn pride, about Mason sitting on the floor helping with math problems long after midnight. The judge listens, really listens. When Mason takes the stand, his voice breaks only once, when he talks about holding his children after the break-in, feeling their hearts race against his.
I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be here. And I am, Your Honor.
The judge nods slowly. Then he delivers the ruling.
Full custody of Jane and Edwards Blake is awarded to Mason Blake.
The words echo. For a moment, I don't move. Mason exhales like he's been holding his breath for years. His shoulders sag, his eyes close briefly. Then he turns to me and smiles. Not the guarded smile he wears in public, but the rare one, the devastating one. Jane and Edwards, sitting with Peter a few rows back, jump to their feet before anyone can stop them. "Daddy!" Jane cries. Mason scoops them both up, emotion finally cracking through his composure. I watch them, this beautiful, fragile, hard-won moment, and my chest fills with something bittersweet. They won. He won. Which means I lost my reason to stay. The celebration is quiet. There are no reporters allowed near us this time. No cameras, just relief, exhaustion, and the kind of happiness that feels too delicate to shout about. Back at the penthouse, the children laugh for the first time in days. Peter opens a bottle of sparkling cider. Mason hugs his kids like he's afraid they'll disappear if he lets go. I slip away unnoticed. Upstairs, I open my suitcase. I don't know when I started packing, only that my hands are steady as I fold clothes, as if my body has accepted what my heart is still fighting. The contract is over. The threat is gone. They don't need me anymore. A knock sounds on the door. I don't turn around.
I knew I'd find you here.
The kids.
They're with Peter. They're fine.
I zip the suitcase closed. Silence stretches between us.
You're leaving,
he says, not a question. Yes. My voice barely holds.
Why?
Because if I stay, I might hope. Because if I stay, this could become permanent, and I'm still afraid of how much I love him. You got what you wanted, I say softly. Your children are safe. Your name is clear. And you? His voice cracks. I finally turn to face him. I was always temporary, I whisper. Mason steps closer.
That's not true.
It was a contract, I say, even as tears burn my eyes. And now it's done. He looks at the suitcase like it's an enemy.
What if I don't want it to be done?
My heart stumbles painfully. Mason, I shake my head. You don't owe me anything. He reaches for my hand.
I owe you everything.
But fear wins this round. I gently pull away. I love you, I admit, enough to walk away before I ruin this. He doesn't stop me as I lift the suitcase, but as I reach the door, his voice stops me cold.
Avery.
I turn.
This isn't over. Not for me.
I don't answer, because if I do, I might stay. And right now, loving him hurts more than leaving. I always thought leaving would hurt less if I did it quietly. I was wrong. The penthouse feels heavier with every item I place into my suitcase, like the walls themselves are watching me go. The room that once felt like safety now feels like a borrowed dream, beautiful, temporary, never truly mine. The contract is over. I repeat it like a mantra. The danger is gone. The custody battle is won. The children are safe. There is no reason left for me to stay. And yet, my chest aches like I'm leaving behind pieces of myself I may never get back. A soft knock sounds at the door. Avery? Jane's small voice calls. I swallow hard before answering. Come in, sweetheart. The door opens and both children slip inside. Jane clutches her favorite stuffed bunny. Edward stands stiffly beside her, hands shoved into his pockets like he's trying very hard to be brave. They look at the suitcase. Jane's lip trembles. You're going somewhere? I crouch down immediately, ignoring the way my knees shake. Just for a little while, I lie gently, because the truth would break all of us. Edwards doesn't buy it. He never does.
Is it because of us?
He asks, voice tight. My heart cracks clean down the middle. No, I say firmly, taking his face in my hands. Never because of you. You hear me? Never. Jane launches herself into my arms, wrapping herself around my neck like she's afraid I'll disappear if she loosens her grip.
You promised.
She whispers into my shoulder.
You promised you wouldn't leave like Mommy.
Tears spill down my face before I can stop them. I hold her tighter. I promised I wouldn't abandon you, I say softly, and I won't. Loving someone doesn't stop just because you're not in the same house.
But we need you,
Edward says quietly. I press my forehead to his, and I need you too, always. They cling to me like anchors, and for a moment, I almost break. Almost tell them I'll stay. Almost let fear lose. But this isn't their choice to carry. Eventually, Mason appears again in the doorway. He doesn't interrupt. He just watches. When the children finally leave, Jane wiping her cheeks, Edwards holding her hand like a protector, I sit on the edge of the bed, numb. Mason steps inside and closes the door softly. The silence between us is unbearable. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out an envelope, placing it on the dresser.
The money. The $200,000, as promised.
I stare at the check. Then I shake my head. I don't want it. Mason frowns. I didn't do any of this for money, I say, standing. I did it for them. His jaw tightens. You earned it. No, I reply firmly. Keeping the kids safe wasn't a job. Loving them wasn't a service. Don't turn it into one. For a moment, he looks like he might argue. Then something in his expression changes. Regret. Sharp. Immediate. Crushing.
I shouldn't have offered it like that.
He says quietly. I know, I interrupt gently. You were just trying to honor the agreement. The word agreement hangs between us like a ghost. I pick up my suitcase and walk past him. He doesn't stop me. Not at first. I make it to the elevator before my legs start shaking. My reflection in the mirrored doors looks hollow-eyed, braver than I feel. The elevator dings, the doors slide open, and then...
Avery!
Mason's voice echoes down the hallway. I turn. He's running. Actually running. Tie loosened, jacket gone, hair disheveled like the man who chased me isn't the billionaire CEO, but someone terrified of losing the one thing he can't buy back. He stops in front of me, breathing hard.
I made a mistake.
He reaches into his pocket and pulls something out, then something else. First, the contract. He holds it between us for one brief second, this piece of paper that dictated so much of our lives. Then he tears it, once, twice, again. The sound is loud in the quiet hallway, final. My breath catches painfully.
This was never enough. Not for you. Not for me.
Then he opens his hand. A ring rests in his palm, silver, elegant, timeless.
There was only one woman my mother ever wanted me to marry. She gave me this ring when I was young and told me to give it only to the woman who felt like home.
My vision blurs.
I didn't give it to Lydia or anyone else because none of them were her. None of them were you.
Tears stream freely now.
This time, there's no contract, no lawyers, no clauses, no protection from heartbreak.
He drops to one knee. The world tilts.
Avery Hart, will you marry me? Not because you have to, not because it's convenient, but because I love you, and I want to spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of yours.
I cover my mouth with my hands, sobbing. All the fear, all the running, all the heartbreak, it all leads here. I shake my head, not in refusal, but disbelief. You're sure? I whisper, because I'm messy and scared, and...
I know, and I choose you anyway.
Yes, I breathe. Yes, I choose you too. Mason stands, slipping the ring onto my finger with hands that tremble just like mine. When he pulls me into his arms, I cling to him, not like someone afraid of losing him, but like someone who's finally found where she belongs. The elevator doors close quietly behind us. For the first time in my life, I'm not running. I'm home.